Let me ask you a question you may have never dared to ask yourself. Are you the master of your anger, or are you its slave? Think about it. Think about the last time you felt that heat rise in your chest, that pressure building behind your eyes. A word from a colleague, an action from a loved one, or maybe just a frustrating moment alone. What happened next? Did it explode out of you, leaving a trail of broken words and regret? Did you spend the rest of the day, or even the week, replaying the scene in your mind, feeling the poison of resentment seep deeper into your system? Or did you do what most of us are taught to do? Did you swallow it? Did you push it down, deep into the darkness, telling yourself it wasn't a big deal, that you should be better than that? You see, for most of us, this is our relationship with anger, a constant, exhausting battle fought on two fronts: controlled explosion or silent suppression. And in this battle, you always lose. You lose connection, you lose peace, you lose your own energy. This is the first and most critical understanding. Your struggle with anger is not a character flaw. It is a result of a profound misunderstanding. We treat anger like an enemy to be defeated, when it is, in fact, a force to be understood. Imagine you are living with a volcano inside of you, a core of immense power and heat. From a young age, you are given only two options for dealing with this volcano. Option 1 is to let it erupt whenever it pleases. The lava flows, burning everything in its path. Your relationships, your career, your own well-being. People learn to fear you, to walk on eggshells around you. You become isolated, a prisoner of your own unpredictable power. Option 2 is to put a heavy concrete cap on top of the volcano. You hold the pressure in. On the surface, everything seems calm, peaceful even. But underneath, the pressure builds. It seeks out cracks in your foundation. It manifests as chronic anxiety, as depression, as physical illness. You feel a constant, low-level tension in your jaw, your shoulders, your stomach. The pressure is always there, demanding an enormous amount of your life force just to keep it contained. This is the false choice society has given you: destructive chaos or self-destructive control. Both paths lead to suffering. Both paths treat the volcano, the raw power inside you, as the problem. And this isn't philosophy. This is physiology. When you choose the path of suppression, you are not just hiding a feeling. You are triggering a cascade of destructive biological processes. The renowned physician and author, Dr. Gabor Mate, has spent decades researching the intricate link between our emotions and our physical health. His work provides undeniable evidence that the mind and body are not separate entities, but a single, interconnected system. How does this work in a way you can feel? Well, the very same neural circuits in your brain that process emotional pain and stress are inseparable from the systems that regulate your immune response, your hormonal balance, and your cardiovascular system. They are woven together. So, when you consistently repress a potent energy like anger, you are sending a continuous signal of threat and stress throughout your entire body. In essence, by trying to silence the messenger, you are poisoning the entire kingdom. Dr. Mate's research, particularly highlighted in his book When the Body Says No, shows how this repressed emotional energy can contribute to chronic conditions, from autoimmune diseases to heart problems. You think you are controlling your anger, but in reality, you are just changing its form. You are turning a momentary emotional fire into a slow, corrosive acid that eats away at you from the inside out. This is the self-inflicted wound. The wound is not the anger itself. The anger is just a signal, like the nerve signal of touching a hot stove. The wound is the destructive reaction we have to that signal. The wound is the choice to either burn our relationships with the explosion or burn our own bodies with the suppression. We walk around with these wounds, wondering why we feel so drained, so disconnected, so powerless. We blame the world, we blame others, and most of all, we blame ourselves for having this terrible emotion in the first place. We have been taught to fear the fire, to hate the fire. But what if I told you this fire was never meant to burn you? What if it was meant to forge you? To understand this, you must first unlearn a fundamental lie. We have all been told about what anger actually is. It is not your enemy. It is not a flaw. It is not a sin. It is energy. Pure, potent, and powerful energy. And the secret to self-mastery is not to extinguish this energy, but to become its alchemist. To become the alchemist of your anger, you must first understand the true nature of the material you are working with. And to do that, we must look at the very word we use: emotion. What is an emotion? In the language of the Shaolin, and in the very roots of the word itself, lies the secret. Emotion. Energy. In motion. It is not a static state. It is not a label. It is a current of energy moving through you. Sadness is a slow, heavy energy. Joy is a light, expansive energy. And anger is a fast, a new magic. It is a best, outward and intensely focused surge of energy. It is the energy of the tiger gathering its muscles to pounce. It is the energy of a river bursting through a dam. It is the energy of a tiny seed cracking through a pavement of solid concrete to reach the sun. It is the primal, undeniable force of overcoming resistance. It is the universe's gift to you to say, here, use this power to change what must be changed. Use this power to protect what must be protected. Use this power to move. The masters in my tradition did not see anger as bad. They saw it as powerful, and like any form of power, fire, electricity, a wild horse, if it is not understood, not respected, and not trained, it will become destructive. But if you learn its nature, if you learn how to work with it instead of against it, it becomes one of the most valuable assets you possess. So why does this incredible gift of energy so often feel like a curse? Because we have not been trained to distinguish the energy itself from the story our mind tells us about it. And this is where modern science and ancient wisdom meet perfectly. Let's travel inside your brain for a moment. Deep within the temporal lobe sits a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. You can think of this as your brain's ancient, hypervigilant smoke detector. A neuroscientist from New York University, Dr. Joseph E. Ledoux, has dedicated much of his career to understanding this part of the brain. His research has shown that the amygdala's primary job is to ask one question, over and over, every millisecond of your life. Is this a threat? Now, this smoke detector is incredibly fast. It operates far faster than your conscious, rational mind. Its only job is to scream fire when it perceives a threat. The crucial thing to understand is this: your amygdala doesn't know the difference between a real fire and a piece of burnt toast. It doesn't distinguish between a life-threatening predator and a critical email from your boss. A threat is a threat. When that alarm sounds, it triggers what we all know as the fight or flight response. It floods your body with a powerful cocktail of hormones, primarily adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate skyrockets, your muscles tense, your breathing becomes shallow, and your blood is redirected to your limbs. In an instant, your body is given a massive injection of pure, raw energy. It is a physiological gift of power, designed for one purpose: immediate, decisive, docile action to ensure your survival. This is what you are feeling when you feel that first flash of anger. It's not a thought, it's not a decision. It is a precognitive, biological surge of energy. It is the smoke detector screaming fire. The problem is what happens next. Milliseconds after the amygdala sounds the alarm, another part of your brain comes online, the prefrontal cortex. This is your rational mind, the storyteller. It looks at this massive surge of energy and desperately tries to make sense of it. It immediately starts to build a narrative. He disrespected me. She doesn't value me. This is unfair. I am a victim here, and that story, not the initial energy, is the poison. The story is what takes that clean, pure burst of survival energy and turns it into the toxic, corrosive brew of resentment, blame, and hatred that we call anger. The initial energy lasts for only a few seconds. The story can last for a lifetime. Herein lies the secret of the alchemist. The alchemist understands that there is a sacred pause, a tiny sliver of time between the energy and the story, between the biological alarm and the psychological narrative. The untrained person is completely fused with the story. They believe the story is the anger. They are tossed around in the storm of their own narrative, a slave to their reaction. The alchemist, the master of their inner fire, learns to stand in that sacred pause. They learn to separate the raw material, the lead of pure biological energy, from the impurities of the story. They can feel the heat, the power, the surge, and instead of letting their minds spin a tale of victimhood, they ask a different question. This energy is a gift. It is a signal that a boundary has been crossed, or a value has been challenged. How can I use this fuel not to attack, but to build? Not to blame, but to clarify. Well, not to destroy, but to protect. This is the art of transforming a weapon you use against yourself into a tool for crafting a life of purpose and integrity. Understanding this separation is the key, but to apply it, to live it, you need more than just knowledge. You need a forge. You need a technique. You need a practice that allows you to step into that sacred space between the spark and the fire, and consciously choose what you will create. Knowledge is the map, but it is not the territory. You can study the map of a country for years, but you will never know its beauty, its challenges, its reality, until you take the first step into it. The last chapter was the map. Now, we take the step. The forge you will use to transform this raw energy is the one tool you carry with you every moment of your life. It is the bridge between your conscious mind and your unconscious body. It is your breath. This is not a complex practice. Mastery is not found in complexity. It is found in the dedicated application of simple, fundamental principles. I am going to share with you a technique I call the 3 breaths of transformation. It is a practice to be used in that sacred pause, in the moment you feel the heat rising, before the story takes over. It is your forge. The first breath is to acknowledge the fire. The moment you feel the trigger, your first instinct is to either lash out or push it down. You must do neither. Instead, you will simply breathe a deep, slow, deliberate breath, and as you inhale, your only task is to become the observer of the energy inside you. You will label it, without judgment, silently. To yourself, you say, "This is anger," or "Ed, there is heat in my chest," or you say, "In my chest," or you feel a surge of power. Notice the language. You do not say, "I am angry." That is identification. You say, "I feel anger." That is observation. By doing this, you create the first sliver of space between you, the conscious observer, and the energy passing through you. You are no longer lost in the storm. You are the calm eye in the center of it. You acknowledge the fire, but you do not let it define you. The second breath is to release the story. Now, as you begin to exhale, make it even slower, even longer than the inhale. And with this exhalation, you will perform the alchemist's true work. You will consciously release the story your mind is trying to build, to visualize the words of blame, of injustice, of self-pity, dissolving and leaving your body with the breath. Let go of "he shouldn't have said that." Let go of "this always happens to me." Let go of the need to be right. This is the crucial step. You are not trying to get rid of the energy. The energy is a valuable gift. You are simply releasing the poison you have mixed with it. You are purifying the raw material. With one long, slow exhale, you separate the pure power from the polluted narrative. The third breath is to redirect the river. Now you inhale again, but this time you do it with a new intention. You are no longer just observing the energy. You are gathering it. Feel that pure, clean, potent force that remains, and draw it into your center. Then, on the final, the purposeful exhale, you channel it. You redirect the river. You ask yourself a simple, powerful question. What is the most skillful action I can take right now? Or, what does this situation truly require? The energy that was seconds away from becoming destructive words or silent resentment is now the fuel for your answer. The answer may be to speak a clear, firm boundary, without blame. It may be to propose a solution to a problem. It may be to walk away in silence. Or it may be to recognize that no action is required at all. The form of the action doesn't matter. What matters is that it is now a choice. You have taken the raw, chaotic power of the volcano and channeled it through the focused lens of your wisdom. You have forged the sword. This may sound deceptively simple, but what is happening inside your body is a profound biological reset. This isn't just a mental trick. You are actively taking control of your own nervous system. The key to this entire process is the long, slow exhale. Why? Because of a magnificent nerve that runs through your body called the vagus nerve. Think of it as the master control cable for your body's relaxation response. Dr. Stephen Porges, whose polyvagal theory revolutionized our understanding of this system, explains that the vagus nerve is the primary conduit of the parasympathetic nervous system, the one responsible for rest and digest. It's the physical brake pedal to the fight or flight system's gas pedal. When you breathe deeply and, most importantly, exhale slowly, you are physically stimulating and toning this nerve. You are sending a powerful, direct signal from your body back up to your brain's alarm center, the amygdala, that says, the threat has passed, we are safe, you can stand down. This is why you feel a wave of calm. It's not magic, it is you, consciously using your breath to calm the alarm, clear the smoke, and bring your rational, wise mind back online. You are using an ancient technology, your own breath, to master your modern brain. This 3-breath practice, performed consistently, is how you build the forge inside of you. At first, it will feel clumsy. You may only remember to do it after you've already exploded. That is part of the training. Do not judge yourself. Simply practice. The next time, you may catch yourself mid-shout. The time after that, you may catch it just as the words are about to leave your mouth. And eventually, you will learn to feel the first spark of heat and step into your practice instantly, seamlessly. This is how you turn a conditioned reaction into a conscious response. This is how you build your sword. But what does it mean to wield this sword? What does a life look like when you are no longer a victim of the fire, but the master of it? This is the final and most important transformation. To be the master of your inner fire is not to live in a world without flames. It is not to become a cold, emotionless statue. The world will still present you with challenges, with injustice, with friction. The fire will still spark. The difference is that now, you do not fear it. You welcome it. Because you know its purpose. The person who is a slave to their anger lives a life of reaction. Their emotional state is a puppet, and the strings are in the hands of everyone and everything around them. A thoughtless comment, a traffic jam, a spilled drink, any of these can send them into chaos. Their energy is spent, day after day, putting out fires, apologizing for explosions, and nursing the wounds of their own suppression. The master of the fire lives a life of intention. When they feel the heat of anger, it is no longer an alarm for panic. It is a bell of awareness. They recognize it as a signal, a compass pointing directly to something that matters. It tells them a boundary has been crossed, a core value has been violated, or a deep truth has been ignored. In your relationships, this mastery is the difference between destruction and devotion. Instead of shouting matches that leave everyone wounded, you learn to wield your forged sword of clarity. You can sit with a loved one and say, with calm integrity, when this happens, it is not acceptable to me. Here is the boundary. You are not attacking them. You are protecting the integrity of the relationship itself. The energy that once pushed people away now allows you to build containers of trust and honesty, creating connections that are deeper and more authentic than you ever thought possible. Here in your work, this mastery is the difference between frustration and focus. Instead of being derailed by a project's failure or a colleague's mistake, you use that surge of energy as fuel. It becomes the driving force to find a solution, the clarity to see a new path forward, the motivation to work harder and smarter. You become a source of stability. People trust your judgment because you are no longer reactive. You are responsive. Your power is no longer a liability. It is your greatest asset. But the most profound change happens within you. This is the difference between self-loathing and self-respect. The constant inner war fades away. You stop punishing yourself for feeling a natural, human energy. You begin to trust yourself. You develop a deep, unshakable confidence that you can handle whatever life brings your way. because you have the wisdom to transform any challenge into a source of strength. This is emotional independence. It is the quiet, powerful peace that comes from knowing you are no longer a slave to anything, not to the world outside and not to the world within. The weapon you possess is not meant to be aimed at others. It was never a weapon of aggression. It is a tool of creation and discernment. With the sword you have forged, you cut through your own confusion. You defend the borders of your own well-being. You carve a path through the wilderness of life, guided by your own values and your own truth. You stop using your power to burn your life to the ground, and you start using it to illuminate your path forward. This transformation does not happen overnight. It happens with each breath. It happens each time you choose to step into the forge instead of running from the fire. So, the real question isn't whether you have this power inside of you. You do. We all do. The only question left is, what will you build with it? What is the very first boundary you will protect? Or the first difficult conversation you will approach with this newfound clarity? Think of just one small, courageous step. That single choice is where this entire journey truly begins. Perhaps sharing that first intended step, that story of what you will do, is exactly the spark that someone else reading these words needs to see to begin their own journey. Remember, the fire within you is not a curse. It is a sacred, creative, and powerful gift. Learn to honor it, learn to shape it, and it will light your way home. Samay layo.